Apex Legends is so back. This update saved the game. Apex is finally dead, and there's nothing they can do to save it. We were so wrong. Apex is back and better than ever.
Or is it?
So Apex Legends is back. Kind of. I'm honestly surprised there's no warning label when you open it that says this game will induce Stockholm Syndrome. I'm sure you hear everyone complaining about how garbage the game is and threatening to quit just for them to post their Virgin Strafe Hyperqueef Fragtage 3 days later. And me? I'm no different. I hate this game, but I also kinda love it. I'm sure you all have that type of relationship with some of your favorite games too. And with this most recent update, I've never been more on the fence about if I'm on the love or the hate side. There's a lot to talk about with the current state of Apex, but we're busy people, so let's be quick with it and figure out what's going on with Apex Legends.
Wait.
Do you want to improve your gameplay and support the channel? Then make sure to get some gamer subs using my code Devskoi. You'll even get 10% off your order. They've got a lot of cool flavors, and some pretty epic cups to go with them. It would really help out the channel. Get yours with the link in the description. Season 24 of Apex Legends has brought us possibly the most controversial change in its history, that being the new time to kill. In other games, this varies between being one-tapped by a gust of wind to tanking a nuclear blast head-on. And when it comes to Apex, over time, we gradually move towards that nuclear blast side of the spectrum. Weapons received nerf after nerf, armor received buff after buff, and suddenly the only way to knock someone was to plug in a controller or download literal cheats. And trust me, people noticed. With Season 24, it seems like Respawn wanted to completely change things up. Whether that be good or bad is something we'll get into soon. Red armor was removed, helmets were Thanos snapped out of existence, every gun in the game gets a mercy damage boost, and if you accidentally have 1 pixel sticking out of cover, you will undoubtedly have your anatomy rearranged, as your head will no longer be attached to your body within 0.2 seconds. Even as we get adjusted to these changes, most people don't really seem to know what to think about it. It feels great being able to knock someone quicker, but it feels terrible getting knocked quicker. It seems the general consensus on Twitter though is,
it's a skill issue, have better positioning, fuckwad.
Oh yeah, my bad, I didn't think about that. It seems like this logic only really applies if you're playing John Apex Legend herself Ash, since you know she can teleport and teleport again and dash, then dash again. Oh, and then I mentioned she can trap you twice. Yeah, I've got some thoughts on this too. But anyways, the TTK changes. When they were announced, I thought it sounded like a great idea, but after clocking in a good number of hours this season, we've got some room to improve, to put it lightly. The problem is, it's too much too soon. You can't gradually make the time to kill higher and higher and higher every season for years upon years, then randomly revert all of that to lower than what it was in Season 1 in a single update, and then expect people to receive it well. We all kind of got used to people having a billion health, then when you finally did get enough, they would instantly get rezzed by one of the 2 other supports on their team. Don't get me wrong, this was the reason why most people quit, myself included, but they kind of threw everyone into the deep end with this new change. The smart way to go about it would be to roll out these TTK changes over time so people can adjust and things can be tweaked as needed. You know, maybe just start with a universal damage buff, then 2 months later we can remove red evo, and if that's still not enough, you know, helmets can get the axe too. I don't know, my IQ's probably in a range that would put me on a special bus to school, so I could be wrong, but does that not make a little bit of sense? Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the TTK changes, but the problem is it's gonna have the exact opposite effect on the game that Respawn was hoping for. Big changes like this are great for bringing people back in, but if someone who hasn't played in a year, or God forbid someone who is brand new to the game tries to get into Apex this season, their holes will grow 3 sizes that day. Apex is already a pretty hard game to get into nowadays with all the movement tech and how it seems to get more and more complicated every season. Not to mention, while you were off playing games that you actually enjoy, there was a good chunk of people who didn't. Not to mention, it isn't exactly encouraging to load into Apex for the first time in a while, to be overstimulated by 60 different tabs in the store and 40 different pop-ups of ways to ruin your credit score. But yeah, monetization still sucks. Are we surprised? It's EA. It's like being shocked when you hit the Pokemon card restock just to see a 500-pound heathen with visible stench lines walking out with everything in the store. EA be like, yeah, our $300 collection event is mostly old skins, but you'll buy it anyway. Look at these mythic grenade skins. But TTK, right? I guess we'll see what people think of it as time goes on and players start to adapt better. But I will say it was kind of funny seeing everybody hype it up on day 1 just for it to suddenly be the worst thing Respawn has ever done less than 24 hours later. But guns and armor aren't the only controversial things this season, to say the least. The new season of Apex Legends is called Takeover, which was a weird name choice since a more appropriate title in my opinion would have been something like Ashpex Legends or, you know, that was really bad. But you know where I'm going with this. Who would have guessed that the legend most people regarded as the worst character in the game for nearly 3 years suddenly has the highest pick rate any character has ever had in Apex history? Apparently, buffing a character into a tier of their own will bring them to a nearly 30% pick rate, which sort of seems low to be honest, since I can't recall a single time I have fought a team without an Ashe this season, but whatever. To make things even better, Ashe would have been busted with her buffs alone, but then they went and they buffed the entire assault class. They were already pretty good, but now they can just do everything, I guess. They can hold 2 free grenades, get a movement speed and reload boost when they crack shields, wall hacks, perma gold mag, aimbot, no clip, free head all game, and I'm probably still missing something. It would probably just be quicker to say the things that they can't do at this point. For the first half of the season, the biggest issue with Assault being so good is that every other class was basically useless, aside from support, kind of. With their mid-season update though, the Skirmisher class received a bit of the Assault treatment and was pretty much entirely reworked. It seems Respawn's answer to not being able to balance the game is to just gradually make every character busted beyond recognition. For the first time since Revenant was nerfed, Skirmishers might actually have some value. They have a new passive where if your teammates are more than 20 meters away, they get a speed boost to catch up to you. A permanent speed boost is kind of nice since I've never played with a Skirmisher on my team closer than 20 meters. On top of this, Respawn made a bit of an attempt to combat inting, where if a Skirmisher legend gets a knock, they gain an extra tactical charge and regen 50 HP. The key phrase here though is gets a knock, because more accurate wording for my Skirmishers would be like gets knocked. But anyway, once again, you might be thinking,
Wow, these are good changes. Any more than this would certainly be overkill.
well, let me tell you, there's a lot more. They basically giga buffed every single skirmisher in the game on top of the class rework. Now, where have we seen this before? Oh, except Valkyrie, because, you know, she definitely didn't need it the most, but whatever. Yeah, I was checking out the patch notes, and basically the changes under each skirmisher legend just says, becomes God, whatever that means. I don't want to spend too much more time talking about the mid-season balance changes, but my prediction is that Wraith and Revenant are gonna be an issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alter still sucks cock. Yeah, remember how Respawn spent like 3 seasons trying to figure out how to balance Revenant? Well, they kind of just reverted all of those changes, and I guess they expect it to go well. I don't know, man. I'm really trying my best here. I want to see the silver lining. I guess it's nice that they're actually doing something because they spent so much time doing nothing, but we go from 0 changes to 5 billion changes in the span of 2 months. I don't know, we just kind of need a middle ground here. This is another instance of too much too soon. Reworking 2 classes in 1 season on top of rebalancing the entire game and a massively reduced time to kill is just overwhelming. As soon as you sort of get used to how the game plays now, they just rework it again. I don't know. I don't think these are bad changes on paper. Just like give me a minute to breathe, bruh. Like finish balancing the last major overhaul you did before doing another one. Crazy to think about. With such a low time to kill this season, the biggest issue is there's basically 0 counterplay. If you get caught by someone with an L-star, it doesn't matter how good your positioning is. If they can see any pixel on your body, you are getting obliterated. We're just spitballing here, but I think a good idea could be to give everybody Bangalore's passive where you run faster when being shot at. I don't know, just something to be able to counter getting insta-killed. I'm curious to hear what your guys' ideas on this are. It seems like people either love the time to kill changes or hate them, but either way, I don't think anyone is surprised that Respawn still can't balance their game. With every season of Apex Legends, a whole bunch of new problems come with it, adding to that already embarrassingly long list that previously existed. After coming back to Apex for only a couple of days, I wasn't surprised in the slightest to see one of the biggest issues the game has getting worse. That being the matchmaking.
I would have also accepted all of the above.
I've made tons of videos talking about it already, and seeing as Respawn made a point to mention how they improved it this season, I thought I'd put that theory to the test. And yeah, this is how my recent games have gone. let's just say my ass kinda hurts after coming back to the game. Pubs are legitimately harder than ranked, so that's cool, I guess. The system is still the same as ever, just now when you load into pubs, the game gaslights you into thinking you're the best player in the lobby just to instantly die to a 3-stack of script kiddie pred players. Solo queue is still literally impossible. Getting teammates with a collective IQ higher than 20 has the same odds as pulling a fucking heirloom, and they'll still blame you when they run into 7 players solo and get thirsted. Not to mention, if you do even remotely well in a single game, your next 10 matches will be against Fade himself. It's sad that there aren't enough players for this, but I'd still love to see 3-stacks put into a separate queue. But yeah, matchmaking is still fucked as ever. Are we surprised? Oh, and speaking of things that have been fixed, let's talk about the audio for a second. Oh, sorry guys, I was just using the same sound system that Apex likes to use. In this most recent patch, we have an entire section dedicated to, once again, improving the audio. So tell me, why can Ash TP onto me with an ulting ballistic and a Maggie ball, prompting the same number of audio cues as ASMR Count Dracula does your nails? Before you even realize there's 3 players in your asshole, you're already queuing for another game. Let's just say no audio plus low time to kill doesn't exactly leave a lot of counterplay. But hold on, I'm gonna get out of character here for a second. As much as I love complaining, there is one thing I really like this season. I think the arsenal bins are actually a good addition. One of my biggest complaints for a long time is that it's way too difficult to get the guns you actually want. And with the arsenal bins, it makes it much easier to get the guns you want and some attachments to go with it. It doesn't fix all of the problems with the loot pool, but it's for sure a step in the right direction. Especially since this season, more than ever, certain guns are infinitely better than others. Oh yeah, I'll also throw in that I love getting my head ripped off by a sniper because, you know, helmets don't exist anymore. And I'm just gonna say it. If you're still running snipers in this aggro triple assault push meta, you're a fucking pussy. There's no other way to look at it. But hey, if that's how you enjoy playing the game, I'm sorry for you, I guess. Apex is in an interesting spot right now. Everyone swore the game was dead just for Respawn to completely change it up and bait us back in. How else are they supposed to push more recolors on us, guys? As easy as it is to hate on the game, it's good to see that Respawn still has some tricks up their sleeve. I think this is the most interesting season of Apex we've had in a very long time. While I wouldn't recommend this season to brand new players, I do think it has a good amount to offer to returning players. Sorry. If you're at all curious and on the fence about whether to give it a try or not, I'd say it's worth at least checking out. You never know unless you try. Well, unless you're a recon main, then yeah, the game's still gonna suck. I wouldn't even bother. I do really hope Respawn learns from the mistakes they've made over the past year to push Apex to new heights. While this season is nowhere near Apex's old peaks, it definitely brought back more players than the previous filler slop fests we were getting. I think it's still too early to say if Apex is really back, but with more innovations like this, I wouldn't be surprised to see the game reclaim some of its former glory. And honestly, nothing would make me happier. Either way though, the ball is really in Respawn's court, because if they fuck this up, I'm more than happy to go back to playing Rivals or the new season of Overwatch that looks honestly kind of good. But I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the new Apex season. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I think I already know the answer, but feel free to surprise me. No matter how bad things get, just remember, this is the game that we got instead of Titanfall 3.
I'm so sick of this fucking game. The trash! It's the game! It sucks playing this shit! I'm so addicted! So I can't quit!